Siamo all'Università di Messina con il professore Campagna, continuiamo col suo terzo intervento.
This is the situation of global energetic situation from United Nations report of 2000. Of course, new reports have been replaced this one, but essentially not in the number. We are using 12 terawatts at the moment, and the world will need more than 27 terawatts in 40 years from here. The problem is that oil cannot stand this increase of energy demand. In fact, the oil peak is expected in 30 years. Natural gas and carbon are not suitable alternatives because the level of environment problems will increase in a dramatic way. So we can consider the possibilities for alternative resources. Biomass can produce 11 terawatts. Nuclear energy can produce 8 terawatts, considering one factory each 20 kilometers in the Mediterranean coast. Wind and hydroelectric is not enough. So we have to fit this gap. And this gap, there is a single answer to this gap, a single possibility, that is solar energy. This also considering that the amount of solar energy which reach Earth in 1 hour is equivalent to the global consume of energy in 1 year. So more details can be seen in this internet site. So the Starship Earth, we are lucky because the Starship Earth is not an isolated system because it receives energy from the sun. And this amount of energy which this Earth receives is quite big. The problem with light energy is the power density. In fact, it's diffuse. If you compare the power density of fossil energy, it is 1,000, 10,000 watt per square meters, while photovoltaics is much less, even hydroelectric and wind and biomass, which can be considered also a different type of solar energy, are very low compared to the fossil energy. But even in this condition, the photovoltaics can give a large effect on the problem to solve or help to solve the problem of energy demand. If we consider this map of the world, if you look at this square red, this is the square, if at the level of technology now available, if these red squares are covered photovoltaic plants, it will be enough, much more than enough, to cover the energy demand of Earth. It means 0.16% of land. To have 13 terawatts would be enough 150,000 square kilometers. It looks quite big, but which is the area occupied by the current world energy infrastructure? It is a double, which is the size of Italy. And these are power plants, refineries, mines, wells, pipelines, transmission lines, and dams. So essentially, all this stuff would be replaced by the actual technology of photovoltaics. We will have much more energy than we need. Of course, this is not possible because it's not possible to replace all this stuff for a series of reasons. So we can consider other things, but we continue to have in mind that in 1 hour the solar energy reaching Earth equals the world energy consumed of 1 year. But the main problems for most effective use of solar energy to fulfill world energy demand for future are, which is diffuse, is not concentrated, and it is intermittent, not continuous. We need concentrated energy and we need continuous energy. But the problem was solved by natural photosynthesis for millennia. Because what natural photosynthesis does is just exactly this, transform a light energy reaching Earth in a concentrated and continuous energy. How it can made? You can make using light to perform reaction, to convert the light energy here into fuels. The nature produce carbohydrates by a series of complicated reactions. But in this reaction, this is all the energy which is now on the Earth, the fossil energy, comes from solar energy. The reaction is use light and that chemicals which can be used for energy. Carbohydrates alimented our life and society for years and years and years, now are exploding. Now, so essentially light, solar energy in photosynthesis is used to convert low energy content species like water and carbon dioxide into high energy content species like carbohydrates. In the essence, the energy is stored into high energy chemical bonds like HH, like in nitrogen, or CC or CH, like carbohydrates, but also the basis of oil is essentially a chemical energy. From species containing low energy bonds like HO or CO, which are contained in water and carbon dioxide. So to make an artificial photosynthesis for a long time was a sort of holy grail for science and humanity. For many years, it was a dream for a century, starting from the first mention of the process at the beginning of last century. But to turn artificial photosynthesis into a reality, we had to understand in deep detail how natural photosynthesis worked. We had to understand the role of antenna system, this part, capturing light and transferring the energy to a charge separation system, which is this part, PDA, and then use this charge separated system to accumulate holes and electrons and to make a reaction, like producing hydrogen. In the recent years, there are a couple of progress in science made this now possible soon.